Good evening. My name is Wahid Lutfi. I'm going to show you what I have for you for Python data structure tonight. We're going to continue on the Python data dictionary, which we covered on this video, Python data dictionary tutorial 1. So I'm going to cover tutorial 2 today. Let's just share the screen already. I have done that, and let me just go through a slideshow. As you can see that we're discussing data dictionary, which is a very good data structure, a key pair value data structure. It's like hashing key or hash array in other programming languages, or maybe map in C, C++, in Java. So at this time, I'm going to discuss data dictionary in Python, tutorial number 2. Let's just go. This was already covered, tutorial number 1 last video. This one is tutorial number 2. I'm going to finish data dictionary on this one. And the methods that I'm going to cover from the spatial methods, or double underscore method, or magic method, we call it, is double underscore contains double underscore. So I'm going to just read the name of the method or spatial method with like spatial method del item, or spatial method dir, or spatial method doc, length, and reverse. Those are the spatial methods I'm going to cover. In addition, I'm going to cover the method clear, copy, from keys, get, items, keys, pop item, set default, update, and values. So about 17 different 6 of those magic methods, as well as 11 of those keys that are on the data dictionary methods that we should be covering. I'll cover all of them. And let's just get into Python interpreter. In this case, I'm using a Jupyter notebook from colab.research.google.com. So I'm going to just delete all these items here. And so you could see that I'm going to start fresh. In order to just basically print this dictionary, for example, here, let's just make it blank here. So all these lines are empty. I don't have anything at this time, as you can see. But this dir dictionary command, if I just run it by itself, dir dictionary of dictionary item, it just tells me that dictionary contains all these magic methods. But because it shows all of them in horizontal kind of printing, I want to just print them like in one column rather than doing this, so I don't have to move back and forth between these ones. Let's just do that one, and we just say for item or for method, whatever you name that variable is okay. And dir of dictionary, then you just start putting this separator, saying that I'm going to start a begin and end block for that one. And then you move 4 columns, and then you just say print item. As simple as that. You just get to list all the items with double underscore magic method, as well as the rest of these methods. So last time I showed you also how to only get the list of magic methods. So you say if the string double underscore in item, then you want to print that item. But this one needs to be moved 4 columns here out, and then right there is fine. And you just get the double underscore magic method, as you can see here. Similarly, if you say if item not in, then this one will just say whatever is outside of double underscore magic, list those ones. So I showed you that this one last time. I want to just cover these ones, as well as, for example, del items and other ones that I showed you there. So in the list that I'm going to cover, there's a few of them that I will be just using this one right here. See, contains del item, dir, doc, length, and reverse. Those ones we will cover. So if I say, like, for example, _magic, this is the list that is there. And then you could also use, like, for example, if item, and for example, if you are looking for del item, you could just say del item. Is this an item? And then that would show del item. And then if you're saying, for example, in addition, I want to cover the string dir, _dir, or you can even put one because that is still unique characters. These _, you could just do that, or let's say dir of this one, and then you just get this one. So now if del item, or we have to say n item, or that one an item, then you just get those two lists. If you just did not say that n item here, now you're just making like getting everything in the list in there. Similarly, I'm going to just finish on this one because you already know what I'm doing here. So let's just make it an empty dictionary. Right now, I don't have a dictionary. So I'm going to say programming language 1 is equal, let's call it an empty dictionary first. So then I say print type of it, type of programming language 1, and then also print itself and that dictionary. So print programming language 1. If I just print that one, you can see that it says this dictionary items, and then it is this. Similarly, in the way we were printing the earlier example, I could just say, now I have done programming language 1, I could say print dir of PL1. That would do the same thing as if I typed in dir of dict. That would just print this one. And again, if you do it within the for statement like I did earlier, that is fine also. So here, if you want to just assign one key pair value for PL1, you could say PL1, and then you assign key. Actually, in this case, we're going to do a key within this, and then say programming language 1, let's say, for example, and then you could say the language 1 is equal, and then the value of its, let's say, C programming language. And then you could just do that one, and it prints this. And if you just want to change this one to a different language, obviously, whatever value you put, that value will replace that statement. And if you do PL1 sub language 2, the next one, language 2 is equal, let's say we did, let's just make this one C++. C++, and then you just start with that. Now you have PL1 having those two keys, language 1 and language 2. So if I just want to print the language 2 here only, then I just put the key here, language 2, and that would print out C++. And then if I want to print Python, and that's language 1, then I just change that one to Python language 1, and it will print Python. And if I just want to assign print, not print actually, say PL1 sub, and then language 1, let's change the language 2 to a different language. For example, you could just say is equal, let's say Go language. Go language, and then we are going to say print this one. Although Go language and Python and other ones, or Swift, and all of them were written in C and C++, those are the two languages that we all love the most, because it's compiled language, C and C++, and it's very fast and efficient. They're not interpreter. So Go language and Python are interpreter, but they're very nice, efficient, and also clean language, as well as C is. So let's look at this one. So if I just change the language 1 to this, and I want to print the language 2 because I changed it to Go language, then it should say on the next statement here, instead of Python, it says Go. First, it printed language 1 was Python. The second time I printed it, now I updated it to Go language is there. So if I change it to Bash shell scripting, Bash shells, then shell, and then S for scripting. Let's put the scripting, shell scripting, and then you could see that it is printing Bash shell scripting there. So you can assign any key to any values you want to do that one. It is okay. Let me just take a snippet of the code from this preparation that I did, so you know exactly what I'm going to show you here. I'm going to just instead of having a empty, and I don't want to print anything here, I'm going to just do this one and delete all this line here, and then print PL1 first. So you can see PL1 is just basically one language. The key is language 1, and value is Python. So I can just at this time say type of PL1, it will say it's a dictionary. And then it's right here is a dictionary. And then if I just say PL1, it will just say that it's this value right here. And if I just say PL1.keys, and then I get all the keys. So I'm going to show you a number of things here. Let's just delete these lines here, and then just say that if I have only one item or one key with the value, key pair value on the PL1 programming language, and I just wanted to print the keys, then I can get that one. So let's just write another PL2. And PL2, I'm going to have these values. So let's just say that I define PL2 as equal, in language 2 is the key, and then the programming language value is C. Similarly, language 3 is the key, and the programming language is C++. So you have an option here within this braces that when you put the key, you could put it with starting double quote and ending it, or single quote and closing it with single quote. But if you started with double quote, it be consistent. Don't just start with one of them being single quote and the other one being double quote. That way you're not consistent, you will make mistakes. Here now, notice that the same thing is defined there, but I'm not doing anything with PL2 yet. So let's just do an update of PL1 with update of PL2. So what the update does is basically, if I just print PL1.keys, now I have more items than just before, because now language 1, language 2, language 3, all of them or the keys are there. Similarly, if I say PL1.values, I'm going to have Python, C, and C++ for the values. You see, dictionary.values is this. So let's just do a print statement, because Jupyter Notebook, you have to have a print statement, otherwise the last item take over and then does not let you see what you have already printed. So if I just do this, notice this one was the keys and this one is the values. Notice the keys are within the parentheses, which means a tuple, and then inside that one is a list. So, and then we have to look at them individually. So here I'm going to also print PL1.items. PL1.items is going to give you key pair value. So now you can see PL1.item, language 1, which is a tuple between the first element is language 1 is the key, the value is Python. Language 2 is the key, and the programming language value is C. Language 3 is the key, and then programming language is C++. So you can get also for this. Now, here's another trick. You can do a for statement. So you could do for key and keys, I'm sorry, and pl1.keys, you can print out all the keys here. So print key. So this would only print the keys here in the order that they are showing up here. I'm gonna just comment these lines out so you don't see too many values here. And then here you can see that that is the order. So if I say for values and v for values, pl1 dot values, this is another method that we have been telling you that we are going to cover. Print values. Now notice that is the value here, and then you can see that these are the values here. So if I just do both key pair values, I could say for key comma value and pl1 dot items. Now I'm getting both a key and value, and I'm gonna just say print, and I'm gonna use a fs string here. It's much nicer to format it. I'm going to say key is equal. Actually, I'm going to print it the same structure that we have put it here. So I'm going to say pl1, and then the name of the key, I'm going to just say key, but key has to be within the placeholder in this case, and then put a colon here and as a separator, and then say the next one is v for values. Notice this key is not recognized because I used the k rather than key. So I'm going to do that one, and then this should print the key pair value, and it does right here. So I'm going to comment, actually, since we did this one, I'm going to only keep the last one and then delete all these other ones because you already saw it. So it is much shorter and much cleaner to look at this one, saying that, okay, since we did the update on PL1 with PL2, now the items is programming language 1, 2, 3. If we were doing this one for PL2 only, notice PL2 is only those two languages, C and C++, does not contain Python. So this would be just that. Because language 2 is the key is there is this, and then language 3 is C++. Language 2 is C. And then at any point, if you just make pop an item or do other elements, you could do that one. But before I do that one, let me show you some of these other methods that I'm going to cover. So one other ones I'm going to do cover is the set default. Set the default first after the update, because I have it in my list here that I'm going to cover. So what is set default here? If I just say here, print help on pl1.setDefault, and notice that this one is kind of method that we can use. And then here, I want to just say, okay, if I just comment this line out, the for statement, I don't want to print it at this time, so you get only the set default help. You can see that set default is just saying that give me a key, and then if the key is not there already, I will assign a value of none. Otherwise, I will assign it to the value of the key. So I want to just assign pl1.setDefault. And then remember, we were doing like Go language. It's not here. So we could say then language 4, just set the language 4 to Go language. Go, by the way, is the Google programming language. If you're not familiar with it, it's object-oriented programming, and it is kind of interpreter. It's not compiled language, but it's very fast and very efficient programming language It was written mainly on C and C++ and other tools that Go programmers used. And so at this time, let's just concentrate on this, and then we say that if we are also printing it, rather than, we saw the syntax of the print statement, so I'm not gonna just leave this line here. That's a default, you already saw that one. I'm going to uncomment this line and uncomment this line. So now let's see, the Go language is set default, but I'm printing PL2. So I want to print PL1 because PL1 contains everything, including the Go language. You can see that a Go language is set to default. So this syntax that you're doing it with PL1.set default, you could assign another language, let's say language 5, and then you want to just say shell programming. Whether it's C shell, bash, corn shell, true C shell, awkward programming. You could do a lot of shell programming on Unix and Linux, and Mac is Unix. So you are welcome to just watch my videos on shell programming in Unix and Linux advanced courses. So there's a lot of videos I have there. You're welcome to watch them and enjoy them and learn from them. Here on Python, now we did this set default language 5 to shell programming. Let's just run it. And now notice that shell programming is added. So at this time, I want to just take an item out. So if I say pl1.pop, you can just pop an item, for example, language 4. If I want to just take Go language out after I set it here, and then I want to just show you the pop method, how it works. Now notice that pop is removed. If I want to take the language, let's say 1 for Python out, I don't want to take it out, but let me just be fair to everything. So I'm going to take C, which is the mother of all language, out, and then C++, and then also shell programming. So you could just give the key of this one, and it will just pop up that one from the list here. So the language this. But there's another one called pop item. Pop item does not require a key, I believe. But let's just check it out. Yeah, pop item is going to just pop one item at a time. And then if we do go through like a for loop within it and check for the length of them, then we could say that we popped everything. So let's just go here, say pl1 dot. Print first length of pl1. PL1, if you print it, you can see the length of it is just 5. You can also use the double underscore method, like PL1 dot double underscore length method. When this is a special method called a dunder method. So this is a magic method also. So both of them should say 5, 5. This one is showing 5 and this one is showing 5. And that's how you know that there's 5 elements. But because we took one of them out, and now if we just do this one afterward, it should say 4, 4, 4 after this. And it does 4, 4. But because this one is right, these items number 4 and other ones, or right after, before the for statement, if you want to just see it on the printout also right after for statement, you could do so, and it will show that's 4 here. And then here, I don't need to do both of them. So I said I'm going to cover length. I will cover that one. And here, let's just do same thing with as this. Control C here, and then Control V. So those two will say 4, 4. And then this print statement, I don't need to cover it. And then that is good enough. Here, the information is there. So notice that the length is 5, but because I popped it, now the length is equal 4 here. These are the 4. And then there are 5 elements before popping the items. But because we pop the item, if I print this one, now it's going to just show 4 item after the 4. So this is just the for statement going through the same. Now it is 4 here. And before it was 5 of them. So you could just test yourself and everything. So now if I just do the same thing here, before I pop, I could just say, let's say for each of this one, I could just say print this one and then at the end pop it. But then I have to just say that something like this. And instead of printing the length, we could say if length of, let's just use the double underscore, pl1 dot underscore length underscore underscore, and then this is greater than 0. As long as it's greater than 0, then we need to pop. But I need to move it under this F statement, so it is indented. And then now it should say this one, the length should be 0. And if I just print pl1, then it should just show that that is empty. Okay, so there's an error here. Dictionary change size during the iteration. So this iteration, we don't need to iterate anymore. We could just say because we're printing it at the same time, but it says that if the length is greater than 0, then pop item. We could say, let's just make this one a while statement, while, and then so print that statement is separate here, and then you say while this is this, and then pop item. So this would be a different loop here, and then we just run it like this, and that makes sense. Because here I want to print out the list is length of 5. So length is 5, and these are the actual key pair value. But then when L1 is, we're popping, while the PL1 is length is greater than 0, keep popping. So as we pop, then we print it, and then it says that at some point the length is equal 0, the list is there. If I just say, and the pop item, we could print it out, the pop item. We could do that also. And the pop item is right here. It's assigned to something, and we could just say pop item is equal, let's say p item is equal, and then we just print the pop item. Let's see if that makes sense here. Yeah, and you can see that every time I pop an item, the popped item is printed. So you could just say in a very nice F string. And last time I used a single quote. This time I'm going to use double quote. Disregard to what you do. If you want to use single quote here also, with I mean uppercase F, and then either double quotation or single quotation. If you start with single quotation, you have to close with single quotation. So now you say popped item, and let's say you want to say that one, and then you just say p item here. So that p item is the one that is there, and you just put a colon here, popped item. I'm going to put another p here, popped item, and then show you the popped item. So you can see that the language was shell programming, then the language is Go language, and then 3 for C++, C, and eventually it's linked to 0, and you popped everything. Okay, so let's just show you how to delete an item. How to delete an item. I'm gonna just delete all of this, and then I'm going to say, so now we updated it with PL2, and if we say print PL2, let's see a quick way to just show that the update is done, and then we want to just print out those lines. So here is PL2 and PL1. So if I just want to run this one, since I updated PL1 with the update statement, basically the update is just saying that whatever was on PL1, find out what is missing on PL1 with information from the dictionary PL2, updated with that, and then now PL1 will contain all the details. So you can see PL1 is now having this, rather than only what it had language is equal Python originally. So if I just do this one, PL1.update, again PL2, notice that this one does not do any difference. This is not like extend on a list that it's going to do it. If you do it 3 times, it's going to extend it 3 times. No, it is just going to put the same information that is found on PL2 and not on PL1. It's going to update those ones. So it doesn't matter how many times you do. But if you say modify PL2, and then with PL1, so now PL1 is added with PL2. So PL2, notice PL2 would be longer rather than PL1. So PL2 is everything, and PL1 is just the one that it was there. So PL1 is updated here. The update does that. So at this time, if I want to just take one element out of it, I can just say, go ahead, delete an element. Let's just add one more with PL2 set default. We added one language called, you don't have to say language 4, you could say language 7, whatever you do, the order doesn't matter. These are hash key. So I could say Go language or Swift language. So now I'm adding this one. Now PL2 is there, but this has to be a dictionary in that format. So I'm going to just say dictionary of key pair values, then set the default to that. And at this time it is still failing because the set default, it did not work. I just sorry, it is not a dictionary, it is 2 keys. So key and comma value. It is like that. That it is the parameter set default takes 2 arguments. So the first is the key, the second one is the value. Notice I use single quote and double quote. You can use, as long as you start with single quote and close it with single quote, you're okay. Similarly with double quote. And then here I'm going to, I saw the language 7 was added. Now I'm going to remove, for example, let's say language 7 again. After I did it, I'm going to delete it. So I could say PL2 double underscore del item double underscore, and then I'm going to say delete the language 7. This is just the double underscore and delete item magic method, and then I'm gonna print after that one the same one. I should be able to not see Swift language there, and Swift is gone. So if I change this one to, let's say, language 3 for C++, now Swift will be there, but C++ will not be there. Similarly, if you want to just take the 1 out, Python out, Python will be out. So whichever one you want to delete that item, you just provide the keys for it. Okay. Let me see what other method I say that I'm going to cover. So I covered the clear method. The clear method, if I just say Notice here, if I just clear right after this one, I say print pl1 dot clear. pl1 dot clear, this is the pl1. So if I just do Control X here, and just before this one, before we print them, and then I just clear pl1, and then on line 8 I print them, pl1 and pl2. Notice pl1 on line 7 was clear, and then on line 8 when we printed, pl2 has values but not pl1. Similarly, if I want to just keep take the Swift out here, that was 7, and then run it. Now this is shorter. Language 7 is there. So pl2 does not have Swift, but I want to just clean pl2 here this time. Notice that pl1 is going to be only language 1 with Python. The clear method clean up pl2. So this is what clear does. It basically makes the dictionary empty. Like as it says that while the length is empty, not greater than 0, keep popping. So what else I have on this one? And the copy method, the copy, and then from keys. Let's show you the copy method. So on the clear method, we talked about it. I'm gonna delete some of these ones. Actually, let's leave the delete item language there. So I'm gonna say copy. So if I say pl3 is equal pl2, and then I say also pl4 is equal pl2 dot copy. I want to show you the shadow copy versus the actual copy. This line 4, I'm actually copying what's the content of pl2 to the dictionary pl3. So whatever is the element of pl2, later on I modify it till pl3 is also going to have the same values. So here I want to just print out pl3 also after this line. And then I'm going to say print pl3 here, and then pl3 here, and then pl4 and pl4 here. So notice that on pl2 to pl3, this actual copy. pl2 dot copy, this is a shadow copy. So when I modify pl2 later on, the shadow copy will not have the modification, but pl2 will have anything that any changes that I do on pl2. Like this pl2 dot delete item, the language 7 is gone. The shadow copy will be different. So this one is the shadow copy in this case is pl4. And notice pl4 is having this information, and then language, C++, everything is the same here because I did this one after the modification. Delete item language 7. So pl3 is that. Yeah, set default this language. So I want to do this too after I did the work. So Control C. Actually set default language 7, and then here we deleted it. We don't want to delete that one. We want to delete another item like language 1 because we know, or language 3. So let's see if that will change a little bit. Yeah, so you can see because the delete item, we want to just keep the Swift there since we added it, set default. So Swift is on the pl3, which is a copy, the actual copy. So the actual copy carries on the modification, but the shadow copy, which is pl2.copy function, does not carry on. So it's a snapshot or a copy at that moment. It's a shadow. It is whatever was in the shadow at that time, we have it. And then after that one, the change is not carried over. Okay, so I hope you understand that part. Let me just go to the next one. From keys. From keys, I'm going to cover that one also. So let's just delete all of this. And then I'm going to say right here, say keys is equal pl2 dot from keys, and then say print keys. So notice that from keys, it requires an argument here. So if I say language 2, it takes this keyword and then it puts it into a string of key pair value with L for the language, A for and the first, second letter, N for the third element, and G, and so on. So all of them, and with the default value of none for them. So now you have a dictionary of keys. You can also say keys.keys and then keys.keys. You can print those ones also here, the dictionary, or keys.values. So since I give it the name of the keys because they are keys actually, then you can see it. And you can say keys.items similarly. So you can just print those one as well. And then each one of them or key pair value of those ones. And then the dictionary items. So for example, here, let's just show you a different example rather than the from keys. Here, if I say pl2 dot items, this one basically is show you the key pair value. But notice that this one is within a parenthesis, and then within a brackets, and then within tuples again. So if I just change that one to just say, give me a list of it first. So I say L1 is equal a list of this one. Now I converted that one to a list. And then if I say print a type of L1, so now it's a list. And then if I just say print L1, you could see that the actual list is these. So this one, print type of L1, because I use the constructor or the constructor for list to create, convert, or cast pl2.items to a list and then assign it to L1. L1 now is a list, and then the actual values are these. Notice the actual value of L1. So if I want to just get L1 sub 0, then it's going to print a language 2 with C language. Similarly, if I do a language 1, it's going to say language 3 with C++ values. And I could also go through the list similarly, say for item and let's say L1, I could have just said print item. This would just print each one of those items in like in a tuple format. And if I want to see the data type of each one of them, it will say that this is a tuple. And then I could have also said something to do whatever. Well, this one, instead of this, I could just say for key, comma, value, and then put this one enumerate. And then this enumerate function takes a list, and then I could just print the key, and then comma, and then comma value. So I could just print it like that. At this time, I only need one of them. And then that would just say 0 language 2. And because I put it in the enumerated type, and since I just got the key pair value, the index of them are also showing up with zeros in here. Okay, let me just show you what else I have here. So at this time, I'm going to go to the next one, the keys. We did that one, items. Oh, get method. Get method. So here you could just say, for example, pl2.get. And then the difference between get and the actual this, now you can say language 2. And then if I want to just print this one, print, notice language 2 is there. And so it should print me the C programming language here. And if I just change that one to 1, it should say Python programming language. Actually, PL1 dot, and that one was on PL1, not on PL2. But PL2 was language 3 was defined there. Language 3 is defined there. So notice that if you put a key language 3 on, sorry, this is not defined here, PL2. So if you define a key and then PL2, this is language 3. Yeah, this is C++. I want to just make sure that we get C++. The value was for both of the language were C. So if you get this one, PL2, get, now if I put a language that like 5 that doesn't exist, it's going to say none. But here's the difference between that one and this statement, PL2 sub, and then if I just say language 5. So this one is saying that if the key exists, like let's say language 2 exists, then it's going to say C here. But if I just put a key that doesn't exist, the get error is silent. It does not fail. And then this one is going to just say key error, because this key error is saying that language 5 doesn't exist. And if I put like anything, say anything, then it says anything key error. But on the get error doesn't. But here, if I say anything here, notice that anything in lowercase, then it's going to just say key error anything. So in order for you to get that one, you need to do .get. If you want to make it silent, you just put anything in that sense here with the get method, and that would be silent. So you get none. That way you can compare. If you get a none, and then you know the key is missing. But if you want to get a value that is already in the language 2, for example, language 3 is C++, then you can get it. Similarly, for PL1 dot language 1, since it's Python, you can see that it is going to return a value, Python and C++. Okay, so we covered that one as well, and get items, key, pop items, set default, update, and values. We covered everything here on this list. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any question on any of items, your help here, DEROF dictionary, it gives you the list. And then also you can also do a print help on dictionary. And then if you define a dictionary D is equal, you could just say, for example, D is equal an empty dictionary here. You could just replace that DICT to D. That would be the same thing as if you're getting help. And if you want to just say, for example, the update method, how it works, you just get help on that one. And if you want to get other methods, like, for example, double underscore delete item that we covered here, and then you could just get that method. You could see right here, I put this as a function, which is on the help. It's not a function. You just have to put the double underscore. But when you pass in the argument to do delete an item, then you put the keyword of that one. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you can get all the updates. And please make sure that if you're interested to learn Unix or Linux, watch my shell scripting and bash scripting and all those other videos that are there. And also watch the